Good evening. I'm Paul. This is Dave. I am a beer enthusiast here, and Dave is a home brewer and beer judge. And I botched the freaking intro last time video, so I'm trying to get it right this time. But this evening we are doing a Avery Brewing White Rascal, a Belgian-style wheat ale. It's a white. I'm kind of looking forward to doing this one with Dave. I had one of these yesterday. It was a pretty good beer. We previously did the winter warmer.
Yeah. So we've done the winter warmer before from Avery. I'm a big fan of white ales, Belgian beers in general. So from a beer style standpoint, Belgium is kind of like Disneyland. There's a lot of good stuff, and there's a lot of variety of good stuff, and there's things you've never seen, and it almost only exists in that place. Now, Avery is a Colorado company, so hoorah, Colorado.
Started
So
in
as a
93.
future Colorado resident here, still living in Arizona, I am a big fan of the area and, companies coming out of Colorado. So I like Avery.
All right. Well, we have a 5.6 APV. I think I found the IBU rating as being 22, but it wasn't on Avery's site. Avery is pretty nice, though, about their site because they do talk about what they put in there for spices. In this case, it's coriander and orange peel. And they also talk about their fermentables and even their hops. And I think they said something about their yeast.
Yeah, so I think it's a 50-50 barley and wheat combination. And one of the things I think that make most Belgian beers, now you can get the Belgian yeast. So you don't have to be in Belgium to have the Belgian yeast, even though that's probably how it was originally derived was, hey, the yeast in this region just is really good for making beer, which is why we end up with all the different kinds of styles of beers. A lot of times it's from the genes of the yeast that give us different characteristics in one area versus the other. There's some great companies that have done a fantastic job over the years of really breaking this down. And Belgian-style yeasts are probably some of the most renowned just because there's such a huge variety of different kinds of yeasts that come from the area that create different kinds of characteristics that are really unique to the region and are really good. So I'm excited about it. I like Belgian-style ales. White ale is a really good style because the coriander and the orange peel. I like it. So I'm a big fan of the style.
A lot more head than the last beer we did.
So if you're not familiar, coriander is actually the seed of the cilantro plant. Yes. And the cilantro plant is one of those kind of things where some people like them, some people don't. I love cilantro personally.
Allegedly, it's genetic.
And it is genetic, yeah. It's one of these kind of things where you either taste like soap or it doesn't.
Yeah, they actually track down a gene to people who like it have one gene and people who don't have a different one. So.
Yeah. So my wife doesn't like coriander. So I'll make salsa. She's not having any of the coriander in it. I used to love growing coriander or growing cilantro, and so I would throw it in mine, but not in hers. So it's unique kind of living in that environment, but
I personally think a street taco needs cilantro, onions,
beef. How could you have one without cilantro? It just wouldn't be the same.
Maybe some tomatoes or something on it, but that salsa, you're good.
I just think it's like taking a little bright piece of life and just ripping it from your soul. But let's take a look at this color. One of the things, the reason why they call it white is it definitely has this kind of like white tint to it. So obviously a really white frothy head, really moussey on the top if you can kind of see it there.
Here, we'll show my head. My head's bigger than yours.
It almost looks kind of almost like it has a white hue to it when you look at it. Obviously from that wheat barley combo.
The cloudiness looks like it's white inside the yellow beer or the golden beer. Don't waste, Dave. Waste not, want
I
not.
want to make sure I get any of the floaties. So right off the bat, I'm actually smelling more of that Belgian yeast than anything else.
This definitely has a yeasty smell.
It's a yeasty smell, but not like overly yeasty. So it's not like so estery, like it's a wheat, like a Hefeweizen or something along those lines. But it has a real unique Belgian kind of yeast smell.
It's nice. It's very pleasant. Gets in your mustache. I like it.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
It's got a tartness to it that's
got that-
really unique to like a Belgian wit.
Yeah. It's got that spicy undernote, touch of citrus in there.
Yeah, a little bit of citrus, that coriander.
You don't get a lot of the hops on it. It's very pleasant. It's not thick and heavy.
Little carbonic bite to the tongue. But it's so refreshing on the back end of it.
Yeah.
So it's really nice and refreshing.
It's definitely a beer that's not going to be in your mouth much past swallowing it. You're not going to have that aftertaste.
It's a great example. Like I would almost recommend drinking one of these and then drinking like a Hefeweizen, because they're both very yeast-centered kind of beers. And they're going to give you two completely different experiences. And it just shows you that the difference of genetics, you can almost have the same recipe, just different yeast create a whole different kind of experience. We did this once in my beer club. And essentially we did all the same beer, cross the line, same recipe, and made sure it was really homogeneous. And then we went through and just used different yeast. And you could really pinpoint how yeast affects the smell and the flavor.
Yeah, I
tremendously
personally really enjoy this beer. It's a beer that I would like a bolder flavor out of myself. But at the same time, this, you can tell, they've got to make stuff for the market. They've got to make stuff more for a broader appeal. So if you get too bold on a lot of these flavors, you're going to lose a lot of potential customers. But this is a fantastic product. I'm very happy with it. I would like to say that when we did the winter warmer, I remember liking the winter warmer, but that stuff was like 8.3 or 8.7. We got the notes here somewhere, but it's it'll kick you in the butt. Whereas this is a much lower APV. This is only 5.6, so you can enjoy a couple of these before you realize you were schlockered.
Yeah, I remember that the winter warmer it almost felt a little manufactured to me, if I remember correctly. That it really wasn't outstanding, but this is really, like, I really, really like this. I think they've done a fantastic job on really kind of balancing it out.
Nice lacing.
Yeah, nice lacing.
Nice smell.
It's got a great smell. And the smell
color.
really opens up too. I know you talk about being bold. I like some of the subdued nature to it because you have to go looking for it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Because even smelling it now, it smells like it's opened up a little bit more.
This might be... So we just popped these out of the fridge, so they're probably pretty close to about 35, 36 degrees, somewhere in there when we opened them. And this might actually be a better beer closer to like 50 degrees. Because that might actually open up the flavoring in it.
Really good. What I really like about it is it's really easy when you're doing a spice beer to overdo it in like coriander, orange peel, and make it really orangey. And I think we had one not too long ago, and it was really orangey and good for what it was because it was a unique experience. This is a lot more traditional. So like what a traditional Belgian wit would taste like, where it's not overly coriander or orange peel. It's there, you notice it, you taste it, but it really has some of that Belgian sense that's really kind of standing out to it. They've done a great job. I think that, I mean, if you look at the other one that we had and we say Avery was maybe a 7 out of 10 on that one, I think they hit it out of the park in regards to hitting the style on this.
Yeah, no, this is a good beer, and I do actually really appreciate the white hue that comes through this particular beer when you hold it up to any of the lights, because it's like you see a whitewash stain on wood. Even though I don't care for that look, it's definitely white, even though it still retains the colors. So
Yeah,
and I do appreciate the way that
like
looks.
a white oak.
Yeah, white oak's actually a wood, not a finish. But
Oh, well. He's the wood guy.
yeah. But anyway, no, this is a very good beer. I would not complain drinking this beer all night. It's not heavy. It's not too fizzy. It doesn't, it sits well. It's pleasant in the mouth. It's a very good product. I have to say they definitely nailed it with this White Rascal here. So
Yeah, for a beer that's really commercially available, I mean, it may be a good go-to Belgian wit for a lot of people. If you like this style, they're doing a great job on producing this. I think that it's going to give you a good experience. And obviously, I think that there's probably some more traditional Belgian wits that maybe hit it a little bit more on the mark. But if you have to go chase that down versus this is at the store,
yeah,
you're not going to be disappointed.
The thing is, like I said in the previous video, I was just upstate Utah, and we went to Wyoming, and they had a whole bunch of different beers up there that we don't see here in Phoenix really that much. So I picked a bunch up because I'm sure you guys are tired of us doing the local brews. Not to mention, I'd like to just try different flavors of beer from different parts of the country, because every part of the country, it seems, has different preferences, So
to honor Paul's trip, I wore my Bryce Canyon shirt from when I took my kids up to Bryce Canyon.
Yeah, I was in Bryce Canyon
because he just got an opportunity to go through
4 days ago.
Selfless plug of Utah National Parks.
Beautiful state.
Absolutely,
fantastically beautiful
probably
state.
Has one of the best collection of most amazing experiences when it comes to those kind of national parks than almost any other place. California's probably up there as well, and Arizona's got
we got some nice parks.
Some nice parks as well, but they just have an amazing collection of some really cool places to go and see.
Definitely. Well, let's get on to the presentation before we digress much more about our personal love for going to see beautiful nature.
Well, okay, so we'll talk about the beautiful
beer.
I'm going to be pretty high on this. I'm probably going to go right into the 9s.
Really?
Yeah, just because
I figured you'd like it, honestly.
The presentation, I think that it's awesome that you get that white kind of tint to it. Like I said, if you're just brewing, it's taking a certain level of decision making that's going to make that happen. Too much heat and you're going to caramelize, not the right mixture, and it's not going to really kind of turn out the same.
Not enough heat. I think you're not going to get your products to do what you want them to do.
Yeah, they crafted it specifically to be able to create that. They still kept a great head. This style should be a little fuzzy, and it is. I feel really good about a 9. Yeah, I feel really good about a 9 to it.
I am probably not as positive as Dave is, although I will say this is definitely a very well done product, and they did dial in what they were going for. I'm going to give this an 8.75. As far as the taste, like I said, I'd like to see more boldness out of it. So I'm going to be more like I'm going to go 7.9. It could just be a little more oomph to it.
See, and I might go a little bit the opposite. I think I'm going to go 9.25 on the taste.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm a big thing about the advertising is the smell and the sight, and then the taste is the delivery on it. And in this situation, I think it delivers higher. I mean, it's a really good presentation, but it actually delivers on a step above. has a nice yeasty smell. I'm a yeasty beer kind of person.
I am too, actually.
So yeah, you are. You're
The
really
yeast
becoming a
is-
yeasty
The yeast
guy.
is very, very central to what the actual product tastes like, and you can't hide the yeast. You know, if you had something that was very yeasty, but you still had an overwhelmingly hoppy side to it, and that, bitterness to it, the yeast would still be there.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can hide the malt with the hops, and you can make if you put the same yeast, do the same thing with the yeast, you're still going to find that in a malty beer, where that yeast comes through.
Yeah.
So
It adds a complexity to it that I think that it entices a lot of palates, but it isn't always right in your face. So it's not like, hey, this is super hoppy or super bitter or super sweet. So when you're looking at it, you're like, wow, that is enticing. What are those flavors? It's all over the place. And that's what I really like about it. And I think that they did a really good job on this. It advertises it when you smell it, and when you taste it, it actually delivers and then some.
yeah,
And
and this is their flagship beer according to their website. So what are you gonna do for overall impression there, Mr. Lang?
I'm impressed. So I'm gonna go 9.25 on the overall impression. And I'm going to go up there. Rate is about a 9 on the personal preference.
All right.
It's one of my more favorite styles. If I'm looking at a light beer and this is my option, I mean, I really have two go-tos, a Hefeweizen and a Belgian Wit. So from a style standpoint, these are two of which many styles that if I'm in the mood for a light beer, I'm going to choose one of these two styles. So it's going to be up there.
I like the Belgian whites myself. I mean, I have no problem drinking Shock Top or drinking Blue Moon. I know people are like, oh, yeah, but honestly, it's always a pretty decent beer.
Mm-hmm.
For my overall impression on this beer, I'm actually going to be up there on a 9.
Yeah.
Because it is an excellent product. Don't get me wrong, they really dialed it in. They got, I think, what they wanted out of it exactly. And for my personal preference, I'm going to be at an 8.5 on this one. There are other beers I would rather have, but I definitely would not turn this down.
Mm-hmm.
Try it. Like I said, if you like your Blue Moons, your Shock Tops, or whatever, you see this, pick it up, try it. This is very good beer. Please like, subscribe. Let us know what you think of the beer if you've had it. Any comments are appreciative. Any suggestions are appreciative. And with that, I would say cheers, Mr.
Cheers. Yeah, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think. I'm going to recommend it. If you like them, try it.
I recommend it.